Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Flash Forward number 5. And as I'm showing this to you on the screen, I'm looking at this Birds of Prey advertisement on the back, and good lord, Margot Robbie is very attractive. I really like her as Harley Quinn. The jury is still out. I'm really not liking the look of Cassandra Cain. And, well, the Huntress and Black Canary and Renee Montoya, the jury's still out on them too, I think. But, a little bit different, but she's got a pet beaver there. I think that's kind of funny, just like in the comic with Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. But it'll be interesting to see how that movie turns out. I got mixed feelings about it, but it is what it is. We'll check that out. In the meantime, Flash Forward number 5, The Redemption of Wally West. Wally West is unmoored. We know that after Flashpoint, we had the mess of the New 52, and everybody wanted Rebirth. We finally got Rebirth, and then we got that Rebirth one-shot, and Wally West came back, and he hugs Barry Allen, and he finally felt he was home. But then he went off in that Titan series, and the Titan series, we thought we were going to get something in the Titan series, where he would remember, and he'd finally get Linda and the twins back, Jay and Iris, and what happened? Nothing. He didn't remember any of it, and then he ends up in Heroes in Crisis and accidentally killing a bunch of heroes in Heroes in Crisis. And then he goes off into a sort of an insane asylum, and then he escapes. He's broken out by Tempest Fusionut, and now he finds out, of course, that he's the only person in a billion trillion lives throughout the multiverse and the dark multiverse that is capable of actually saving various worlds in the multiverse from devolving into the dark matter universe and from being destroyed. And he uses this rod that Tempest Fusionot has given him, and he's used it in the first 4 issues to go to various different Earths in the multiverse, in the 52 Earths, and he's saved them from an attack from the darkness of the dark multiverse. And apparently, Wally West is unique because he's unmoored. Now, what does unmoored mean? I'm not really sure. And even after this issue, it's a kind of a non-explanation. I don't really understand what unmoored means, but apparently because after Flashpoint, somehow Wally West, because Wally West, I think when Flashpoint occurred, because he was in the Speed Force at the time, I think was he protected from the fallout of pre-Flashpoint? And then he got lost in the Speed Force. And so while the New 52 was going on, Wally West, of course, never showed up in the New 52. And then when he showed up in Rebirth, it's because finally he found his way home. And that was the explanation. But he's still technically now unmoored. Because of DC editorial screwing up the whole Rebirth thing, they tried Rebirth. It was fantastic. For some reason, they abandoned something that worked well. They've embraced darkness. They've embraced metal. And now they have to put lipstick back on the pig after Tom King, screwed Wally West up the canoop shoot, right? So now I'm beating around the bush here. What's the explanation in this comic? Well, guess what? I guess Wally West. He's unmoored, and now he's got to. Well, he met up with his kids. He just miraculously ran into Jay and Iris, his twin kids. He ran into them and has a flashback with him sleeping with Linda. Linda's holding their infant child, and one child's in a crib. And it's a very touching moment between Dad, Wally West, loving his kids, and saying lovingly that I'll always protect you because I'm the fastest dad alive, right? But it's discovered here at the end. It's revealed to him because he gets within proximity of the Mobius chair. Now, the Mobius chair showed up in issue 1. The Mobius chair is the chair that Metron sits on. It's a chair that has all the knowledge in the universe. And if you sit on the chair, and it'll answer any question you have for it. If you recall, Batman sat on the Mobius chair and he asked, who is the Joker? And of course, the Mobius chair told him, and that's why there's 3. Batman found out there's, in fact, 3 Jokers. And it's the 3 Joker miniseries that's going to be coming out, written by Jeff Johns and drawn by Jason Fabok. That's going to be coming out in the months to come. So that's interesting. But that Mobius chair, well, that Mobius chair, I was hoping in issue 1, I predicted that hopefully maybe Wally West could sit in that chair and all his questions could be answered in terms of the mystery surrounding what exactly happened to him, why his life's gotten so screwed up, and what exactly happened to his wife and kids. Now, as it turns out, he didn't even have to sit on the chair. Apparently, he just got in proximity to the Mobius chair, which is pictured here on the cover, and his mind was filled with knowledge, but he couldn't access it all at once. And Tempest Fusionaut in this issue is helping him process all the information. And it's really depressing because apparently this dark world where Wally has found his wife or found his two kids, and presumably Linda's there as well, apparently he created that world in his state of depression. You know, I mean, he created, it was created from his fears of losing his wife and children, actually created a new dark multiverse, or a dark world that was now slowly decaying away. Now that's weird. Now, I don't know what makes Wally West so special that his fears lead to the creation of a dark world. I don't really know how that plays in sync with the Batman Who Laughs, because, you know, we've got different rules here about what, you know, I thought the Dark Universe was a universe in and of itself, that it was the flip side. We had the map of the multiverse, and on the flip side we had the dark multiverse. Well, this whole series introduced different concepts, because now apparently worlds that are decaying or become too evil or bad, they begin to decay and they fall into the dark multiverse and they decay away. And there's this process of life and then decaying that occurs. But there was one world in the dark multiverse on the flip side that was refusing to decay, that wasn't decaying. And it was spreading out, and it was infecting the multiverse. Well, Wally West has succeeded in preventing that from spreading out, but meanwhile, he's got to destroy this dark world that's refusing to decay. But this dark world that's refusing to decay is a world that his own children are on, and it's a world that Wally West himself created from his fears of losing his wife and kid in the first place. So it would appear then that in order to save the multiverse, in order to save the mainstream multiverse, that he's going to have to destroy the world and potentially sacrifice his own children and wife, and he's going to have to give them up. And perhaps whether he wants to or not. Now, I'm not sure if that's at the end game here. Is that how this is going to end? Now, this is issue 5. There's one issue left. This issue ends with the realization where Wally, you know, he gets the information, he processes it from the Mobius chair, and through the help of Tempest Fusionaut, where Tempest says, you know, he realizes that you're asking me to do something. You're asking me to pay a price that I refuse to pay, and that price being he's got to destroy the dark world that is spreading out and destroying the various worlds of the multiverse. He's got to destroy that world because he's the one who created it, and because of that, he's the only one apparently that can destroy it, because he's the one that created it in the first place from his own fears. Now, how does that play into the rules established in the Batman Who Laughs? Because the Batman Who Laughs, in the Batman Who Laughs series, in the Batman Superman series, the Batman Who Laughs world was destroyed, but the Batman Who Laughed never created that world. And it seems to me that I would have thought anybody can, you know, various powers or various powerful forces could destroy a world. It doesn't have to be the person who created it to destroy it. I'm not really sure what the rules of the dark multiverse are, to be quite honest, but it is what it is. I can ignore that a little bit. My goal here is I'm prepared to be really forgiving about the finer points, just because I love Wally West and I want him back, and I want him and the children back. I think that we have Superman with DC blew it with Superman, Lois and Jonathan Kent. Superman's been ruined by Bendis by aging up John Kent. So we don't have that. We don't have that father-son dynamic. We don't have, and I'm talking about father, more infant, you know, younger children dynamic. We don't have that. They're playing it wrong with Batman and Damian, because they're writing Damian like an adult, not like the teenager he is. So they're even writing Damian wrong. DC, they're missing the point of what makes Damian have appeal in the first place. They're making Damian too much of an adult. They're having him in Teen Titans be he's way too grown up, and he has way too many adult sensibilities. He's still ultimately a teenager, and he should be written like one, but he's not. That's a problem. Damian was written best by Tomasi when it was Batman and Robin, when he was written like a father, when he was still trying to impress his father-son dynamic. That's Damian at his best. We need more of that. We don't have it. We've got Young Justice. It's not Young Justice. The Young Justice series is not Young Justice at all. They're a bunch of teenagers. They're a bunch of thrown together people. They got nothing in common, and they're from different timelines, different eras of the DC universe. Bendis has no idea what he's doing. The dialogue's terrible. It's going absolutely nowhere, and they're too old. The Young Justice teams they're too old. I don't even know why why all those teammates are Young Justice to begin with. It's completely wrong-headed. Editorial, they got to go back to formula. I just don't. Young Justice is awful. It's written terribly, and it's got the wrong makeup of a team, to be blunt about it. You need Impulse, you need young Damian, and you need young Jonathan Kent, and you need young Jay and Iris on there. And at least though, we can't undo the damage of. We can't undo all that. That's not what DC is going to do. That damage has been done. But at least, if we get Jay and Iris here, we got those young kids. If we can focus on Jay and Iris with Wally West and Linda, then we can kill off Barry Allen, get Williamson off Flash. I hate the Flash. I just don't like Barry Allen. Kill off Barry Allen. Have him die. Have him be the old guy in 5G, but have Wally West step up to the plate. Give Wally West his own series with him, Linda, Jay, and Iris. That's the way to go. But is DC going to do that, or are they going to go the full gambit? And is issue 6 are they going to kill off Jay and Iris? Is this going to be the excuse? Because this ends on a real low note. It says here, I mean, it really suggests, the end in every way you can imagine is next issue. So is that just going to be the depressing ending that Wally West is voluntarily just going to give up his wife and kids, and we're also supposed to move along to 5G, where they can create new stuff instead of embracing the stuff that we all love. It's amazing to me that DC wants to embrace 5G and give up Rebirth, which is what everybody loved in the first place. But now we're moving forward to a 5G where they're going to make crap up that is very likely people don't want to begin with. Which, look, I know, of course they make things up. That's what their job is. They're writers. They make things up for a living. But my point is that you don't discard the things that work and embrace the things that haven't, and that's why I find odd what DC is doing, and it's really questionable editorially, I think, what they're doing. But in any event, I hold out hope for issue 6. The last 4 issues here seem to be a little bit of an afterthought because they weren't really necessary. We could have had this probably with issue 2. The last 4 issues was just Wally West running around with a rod in his hand, fighting off the darkness from infecting other universes. But at least we got to see other Earths, which was kind of cool. I like the DC multiverse. It was nice to see some of the heroes from the other Earths in the multiverse. That was kind of cool, so I don't mind that. Overall, I like this series. I've been enjoying it. I do hope it ends on a high note. I'd really love to see Linda, Jay, and the kids, Jay and Iris, back. And have Wally West happy. And, just put a smile on my face so that I can have a happy review, It's so rare when I review DC to have a happy review nowadays. In any event, guys, tell me what you think of Flash Forward number 5. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. And until next time, Comic Boom, out.